Hello everybody and welcome back to the SVR11 universe. I am Jitch. This is ECW, the debut episode. So, I asked you guys' opinion, you all gave it, and it basically sounded like you guys would like to see ECW for, like, you know, till 2011 when it died. So, ask and you shall receive. I have delivered on ECW, it is here, and we are going to kick things off with a battle royal to determine who will compete to become the first ECW champion. There will be a series of battle royals over the next 2 episodes. There will be one on this episode, as you can see.
From Miami, Florida, weighing in at 259 pounds, Montavious Porter, MVP.
And basically the goal of these matches is to find out who will be competing in the championship match at the Royal Rumble, which will be a 4-way matchup for the ECW Championship. Plenty of opportunities to be given. That's what the ECW title is going to be all about. It's going to be about opportunity. It's going to be about making a name for yourself. And that's why someone like MVP is involved in this matchup. No disrespect to him, but obviously he hasn't made a name for himself. I'm actually personally, I've decided I'm not going to play any of these 4 battle royals because A, they're fast anyway. If I remember correctly, they're fast anyway. And B, I actually don't want to rig like who's going into it. I might play the championship match itself, but I kind of want to see, like, obviously the point of the ECW title is to give unusual people opportunities, like Terry Funk. So I want to use it to its idea, to its concept that we brought it in for. So we've got Matt Hardy, MVP, Terry Funk. I'm actually going to cut these entrances a little short because we do have 12 entrances on this show, plus the Cruiserweight title match still to come. So I'm not going to, like, sit through all of them. But basically, the way this is going to work is, like I say, it's 4 battle royals, and it's going to mostly feature people who you don't really see on Raw and SmackDown very much. Like, obviously, you have seen some of these on Raw, but it's kind of like a not very much and kind of a losing streak type thing as well. Like, people who haven't really held wins are in this match.
From Harlem, New York, weighing 309 pounds, Ezekiel.
ECW, as I've already said before, will kind of be a combination of both brands. There'll be the lower rank. As I say, it's basically going to be Superstars. I'm going to let it mostly Booker as it has been with Superstars, but it will... if it books anyone that's a bit higher up in the ranks, then I'll probably take them off the show. If there's someone that's been quite frequently used, like I think it booked Celtic Cross on this, and at the moment they're the contenders for the tag title, so I'll change that. I want to step in, but not too much.
From Blackpool, England, weighing 240 pounds, Regal.
So yeah, there will be another match of some sort to represent Raw on next week's ECW as well, and that will be the second person to qualify for the ECW Championship match at the Royal Rumble, which is next Sunday in the Universe calendar. So we got basically, yeah, just these 2 episodes of ECW, and then we're right there at the Rumble to crown the first ECW champion. I don't know the future of ECW after 2011. I'm probably going to get rid of it and replace it with NXT. I know that means it will go championship-less. I might keep the ECW title anyway. I know that makes no sense, but I might just do that anyway, just to have a belt for them to still compete for in the lower rankings, even though it's going to be called the NXT, because I know there isn't an ECW arena in WWE 12 is all, so that's kind of why I can't carry it on there. I think ECW barely made the cut in this game because it had actually been killed off when this game was released. which is why there's the NXT DLC. Now, I want to bear in mind, I don't think I made this quite clear. I meant to mention this before. These aren't over-the-top rope battle royals. These are standard pinfall submission battle royals. I want everyone to actually like have shown that they deserve to be in the ECW Championship 4-way at the Rumble. So you can look forward to that. Obviously, I think out of all of the superstars in here, believe it or not, the most successful is Matt Hardy. So that really speaks volumes about everyone in here. I mean, technically, if you want to be like really technical, the most successful would be like Terry Funk, because he has a 1-0 record. He's won one match. And his nemesis, Ezekiel Jackson, is also in the match. What a dream come true, I know. But, wow, this is on Legend and they're still acting like that. Incredible. It's like it thinks it's an over-the-top battle royal still. But, yeah, going back to what I was saying, assuming I can even remember it. Technically, Terry Funk's the most successful because he has a 1-0 victory record, but Matt Hardy is technically the most accomplished one in this match, hence why he was the one to kick it off, as he is a former contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. He has actually set foot on a special event before, whereas for the other 5 in this, it would be their like debut, as to speak, and on a big show. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought I was out of time already. I was going to say that's a little awkward if so. So, yes, we've got 2 battle royals on this one. I haven't actually decided who the participants are going to be in each qualifier yet. It's kind of going to be an on-the-fly thing. I don't actually think there are another 6, like, barely used people on Raw. So what I might do is, for the second qualifier, it might be a bit smaller. It might be like a 4-man battle royal or something. I want them to be battle royals because I want it to be that if you didn't get into the championship match, it's because you were pinned. So I want them to all be battle royals. I don't want a fatal 4-way because obviously a single fall, there's the whole up in the air of like, oh, well, 2 people, they never actually lost. They just didn't win. Whereas if we kind of do it this way, in this like elimination style matchup, that can't be disputed. This is going to be that every single person has, you know, had an opportunity, fair and square, and they've been eliminated. It's almost like a tournament played out over 4 matches, just very quick and put together, because obviously ECW came a little close to the Royal Rumble. I was initially going to do a tournament, but I don't know, I just didn't really feel like dragging it out really long. I wanted, because obviously the ECW title may not be around for very long. If I decide to not use it on NXT when we reach WWE 12, it's going to have only been around from like January to November. So I just gotta like make sure that I definitely want to do this. That I definitely want. No, sorry, one more thing. I just want to make sure that the ECW at least has some reign, you know. 10 months is still better than, say, I was to do a tournament that started now and ended at Mania, because that would be cool. I can agree, it would be cool. But that's like an extra 2 months that you've then taken off of its existence, and it goes from a belt that existed for 10 months to a belt that existed for 8. It might only ever be held by one guy, because obviously it may only exist for 10 months. I'm completely open to all the possibilities and the letdowns that this championship could have, but you got to take the risk, because it could also make a star out of someone. It might only go around the waist of, say, Mike Knox, but Mike Knox may then be the only ever ECW champion, and he might have some incredible, like, backing to him of, like, having held it for a really long time and gone on, like, a winning streak, because then as a champion, you're going to get utilized more, because if the game doesn't book him, I damn well will. Champions are going to get used. I'm going to make sure of it. I'm going to start stepping in and booking a little more in this series, because I wanted to have fun and let the game screw around. I guess I'm going to have to save that for WWE 12. I did turn on pin and submission. I'm not sure why Jackson didn't go for the cover there. There is a reason the referee is in the ring. I'm just going to quickly double check. I don't really mind you guys seeing like this. Yeah, pin and give up both. Okay.
Down on the head. MVP saw it coming.
We got SmackDown Battle Royal to come later. I'll probably do that one next, and then Cruiserweight Championship main event. Zack Ryder is going to defend the Cruiserweight title against Kofi Kingston and Christian, which was originally going to be Kofi. No, it was originally going to be Zack Ryder versus Christian, but Mr. Kingston got a victory over Zack Ryder, with the stakes being that he would be added to the title match. And so he is. Ah, there you go. A roll up by Matt Hardy. That could actually get someone out. Or it could start a roll up battle. That too. I put display counts on because I know some people like them. I personally do. I think they add something to the presentation. Obviously, if I'm talking and you can't see that someone's getting pinned, then at least you know. So I like having the counts on screen. I've also turned on blood because I had that recommended to me before and I kept forgetting to do that, but that has been done now. You will start seeing people get busted open eventually. I'm just wondering if they actually know how to win this, or if we're just going to have to rely on pinfall, like roll-ups, I mean. I might have to play a Battle Royal just to make it end, because I get the feeling that they're too stupid to know, because they keep throwing them into the ropes. I think that they really do believe this is still your usual Battle Royal. I don't actually think the game is programmed to handle a pin submit Battle Royal. So we'll just have to hope that there's like 5 roll-ups. I guess we'll see, because Big Zeke just hit his finisher, and then I think he went to pick up. I can't even remember who he hit it on.
Good teamwork there. Matt Hardy takes a big shot. MVP has the headlock.
Maybe I should have made this knockout as well. Could have seen some eliminations from that.
Oh, mama! He drops the elbow. What a kick that was. Oh, another boot to the midsection.
Yeah, depending on how long this goes, I might have to play the second Battle Royal.
What a punch! That'll do some damage. Jackson controlling the waist.
I just wanted to give them a fair opportunity, damn it. I shouldn't be punished for that. If only one of them had... Oh, Terry Funk! He understands the rules of wrestling. There you go. Once again, he gets a win over Ezekiel Jackson. Mike Knox, I think, hit a finisher on Matt Hardy, so he might get one too. Nope. Is MVP going to actually get his like first ever pinfall? I think they've just realized the rules of the match, because they're suddenly all trying pins. There you go. MVP actually beat someone. So it won't be Ezekiel Jackson and it won't be William Regal. I guess this ECW isn't going to recognize how the real life ECW ended then. There you go. Busted open. First time that's happened in the series. So the first ever man to qualify for the ECW Championship 4-way will be Mike Knox, Terry Funk, Matt Hardy, or MVP. And I think we just got one step closer to it being Terry Funk. It won't be a popular win, but oh, MVP broke it up. Oh geez, MVP with 2 wins. No, it won't be Mike Knox. Mike Knox and Ezekiel Jackson I thought would have had the advantage considering they're like powerhouses, but I guess not. Oh, could be the end for MVP. No, could be the end for Matt Hardy instead. No, could be the end for MVP instead. No, could be the end for Matt Hardy instead. Nah, why would we end it that way? I'm really hoping that ECW will be the breakout for Matt Hardy. Initially, I was going to play as Matt, and then I went, nah, I want a fair opportunity. I'm hoping that, like, I know the ECW title and Matt Hardy is a pretty, like, typical thing. But I wouldn't object to it. But I think Terry Funk is more likely at this rate. Yeah, Terry Funk just triggered something where he gets 3 finishes.
We all know about the guts well documented. They hit the double team. He almost took his head off with that lariat. Hardy squeezing down.
But what other organs of Matt Hardy do we know about? I want to hear about those ones.
A sharp elbow drop. Hooking the leg. 1, 2. And Funk just gets the shoulder up.
Jeez, there is a lot riding on this. Obviously, Mark Henry, he's one of the guys that I don't think will have been too happy if MVP wins, because Mark Henry wasn't put in the match. We talk about people that could be in the next one, though, if we do have 2 6-man battle royals. Perhaps we've got enough people actually thinking on it, because, you know, you got Chavo, Mark Henry, potentially you could argue John Morrison, although he does seem to be going somewhere now, R-Truth. Some members of the Nexus, probably not all 3, I'd say maybe like 1 to represent them. Ricky Steamboat, there's another guy. Jake Roberts hasn't even debuted yet, so I think realistically he should be in the next one. That's a guy who's not really getting much use. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Santino, I guess you could argue, although he seems to be pushing himself pretty hard. There's actually more people you can list that aren't being used than people you can list that are, because obviously I've been going off of how it books, and it does not like booking many different people. At least not consistently.
Huge impact delivered to the neck. Hooks the leg. 1, 2.
I guess it had to happen eventually. He was getting the hell beaten out of him. Oh! Nice reversal. I think we've got probably a lot of believers in both guys. A lot of people just liking Terry Funk, and admittedly MVP has gotten most of the eliminations in this match, I want to say. I think he's eliminated 3 people. Funk got out Ezekiel Jackson, but I think MVP got out Regal, then he got out Mike Knox, and then he got out Matt Hardy. So, I mean, I think he's kind of proven something, which is nice. There was a lot of people saying that Mark Henry and MVP really needed to step up their A-game. Maybe it's starting to look like Mark Henry might actually be the weak side of that team. Maybe it wasn't MVP in the end. Oh, yeah, I think MVP is just qualified. Oh, never mind, he's too dumb to go for the pin. Tisk, tisk, MVP. Tisk, tisk. You got greedy. And now you're going to pay for it because Funk's going to beat you right here. Yep. Well, he could have done it, but he let himself down, realistically. Isn't Terry Funk like a real life, like, first for the ECW title? I don't think he's the first, but I'm sure he's held the ECW title. I'm going to quickly do my research. Don't bother writing a comment about this. I know he must have at least held it. ECW World Heavyweight Championship. Yep, that was the first title listed. Whoa, that's a lot of history for that belt. Okay, I'm not reading all of that. It's sad because it was a world title, yet WWE would not recognize it as one. They just refused. Terry Funk is the 10th ECW champion. And, having held it for 90 days, he then held it again for 118. And, is there any more information on Terry Funk and the ECW title? No, because that's when it got resurrected. Wow, it originally didn't have that many different champions. A belt that didn't change hands constantly. You won't be seeing that in this series. Alright, we are back. It is time to find out who the second guy to qualify for the ECW title at the Royal Rumble match. ECW title match at the Royal Rumble will be.
From Hollywood, California, Goldust.
So first up, we got Goldust from SmackDown. As I say, it's going to be 6 lesser featured people from SmackDown. There is one name in this that might turn your head a little bit. I won't tip off who it is, but one of them's a bit big but he's not being used on SmackDown, so he belongs in this.
From San Juan, Puerto Rico, weighing 218 pounds, Primo.
There you go, there's Primo, a guy who has literally never won a match, but this could be his moment. ECW could be what he needed. That's what it's here for. There you go, that's what I was talking about. I know he's a little bit out of place, I know he's a big name, but as I say, he hasn't been used. He's not even debuted on SmackDown yet. He's had one match back at Survivor Series. So yeah, right now he is underused. Right now he does belong in this match.
From San Diego, California, weighing 175 pounds, Mysterio.
And that's precisely why he's here. Because he hasn't done anything on SmackDown yet. I honestly don't think he's had a single match on SmackDown. Just like John Cena, another top guy who barely got used and debuted on Superstars last week. And The Rock, who debuted in a random match on SmackDown last week. And that's why I'm starting to take booking into my own hands again. Because it's just not producing interesting results. It's not using most of the roster. I went to put Vance Archer in and I realized, no, it uses him a lot.
Their opponent from Orangeburg, South Carolina, weighing 248 pounds, the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin.
Admittedly, some people could go, well, hang on, Shelton Benjamin is a little used. He was on ECW, no, Superstars, sorry, this is the debut ECW. He was on Superstars last week. My only response to that being, yeah, but he's got a 1-1 record, and we've been going for 2 months in Universe time now. That means that there's 6 weeks worth he wasn't featured. That to me is not someone who is yet really a main focus. But he could be. And that's what we're all about on ECW. I'll just keep repeating myself. Again?
Their opponent from Moscow, weighing 302 pounds, Vladimir Kozlov.
Made a few big appearances, got a victory over one of the tag team champions. You know, he's not done bad. But, I wouldn't really say he's going anywhere right now. Slightly involved in the tag title situation, but we know there's no such thing as triple threat tag title matches, so it's not like him and Finlay are really making their mark there. He could be fit to be an ECW champion. That could be right for him. Now, admittedly, this one was a bit of a bias.
From Tokyo, Japan, weighing in at 220 pounds, Yoshi Tatsu.
But I'm going with I think it's Multi-X Games. I believe that is the comment. Might be X Multi-Game. Sorry, I can't remember your exact username. But I'm going to go with his lore because I always like his comments a lot. Saying that Yoshi Tatsu had a bit of a freak accident last week on the last episode of Superstars. In the $1 million title match against Ted DiBiase. And that's why he was pulled from SmackDown. And that's why that match went so short. I'm rolling with that because I like that a lot. So yeah, that's what we're going with, and this is my way of just saying he's okay, guys. He's made it back. It was just a very minor injury. He's back in action, and he could be the next ECW champion. Admittedly, after losing a match in like under 2 minutes, I think that in itself is a fair claim to then say that you're not exactly a top guy, which in a way is kind of like. I don't want to sound mean to the title, because admittedly, I know I just said that like it's a shame WWE didn't recognize the ECW title as a world title when it had the word world in it. Obviously, I realized that I'm also going to be doing the same. It is basically the bronze medal of the wrestling world in this universe. But it's supposed to be more the fact that like the people that hold it have like that declaration of this guy's got potential. This guy could go somewhere. Keep an eye on them. That's kind of what the ECW title is going to be used for. Almost like what the NXT title was used for before NXT went super mainstream. AKA when Kevin Owens debuted and unfortunately when Dusty Rhodes died. and they decided that they were going to go a little hardball with treating NXT very differently, to the point where it became a brand rather than like a establishing experimental place. Someone like Tyler Breeze would not make it in the new NXT, and I realized that they just recently put him over there, and they seem to be trying to recapture some of the magic in him, and I will gladly admit that they might be able to do it, but I can see him just getting lost in the mix now, because it's just like Raw and SmackDown. It's just this overcrowded mess filled with too many names that are big. Admittedly, not as much as Raw and SmackDown, because it's a smaller show, so it's going to have a small... But for the size of the show it is, 1 hour long, I think it's got a too big of a roster. And I think there are a lot of people that just wind up getting lost in the mix. Called up because they're not actually ready, but because they don't have anything for them in NXT. So they just put them on Raw and SmackDown and let them suffer on there instead. A little bit like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a name now. Admittedly, that I'm probably playing up a little bit much. I'm just saying I don't particularly care for NXT's modern formula as much as I like how it used to be. 2013-14 NXT, I think, was wonderful. It was truly just a thing of magic, because it was so experimental. There's a lot of flipping happening in the ring right now, and I'm not sure what any of it is. Well, there was when I said that. Kind of slowed down, like, immediately. I mean, Kozlov really stands out in this match as the likely favourite, just based on sheer size. But obviously that didn't exactly work out for Ezekiel Jackson and Mike Knox. They were the first... No, they weren't the first. William Regal was the first. But after that, they were quite quick to leave. But I suppose, as I say, Kozlov holds a victory over one half of the tag team champions. That's a bigger accomplishment than all 6 of these people and the 6 on the Raw Battle Royal have for themselves. You know, if I was to put the Cruiserweight Championship in the rankings, I'm going to have to put it above the... I mean, the WWE Tag Team titles in the rankings against the Cruiserweight title, I'm going to have to put it above the Cruiserweight title, admittedly. So a victory over Chris Jericho, I think, is more important than a victory over Zack Ryder that Matt Hardy holds. As much as I think that Zack Ryder has been impressive. My goodness, his win-loss record is very big. The man has been... Zack Ryder has been used, like, a lot. I don't think he's missed a week. He's even on this episode thinking on it. Cruiserweight Championship match. That's the next match. That's the main event. You just can't avoid Zack Ryder. He was on Raw as well, against Kofi Kingston.
Kozlov with the arm. And there's the double team. Kozlov goes behind.
Kozlov.
And the sound of human flesh on the ground echoes around the arena. Kozlov.
Kozlov.
He's got him.
I don't really know what that was, Kozlov.
Who studied for years the frozen confines that was.
I think the thing about these matches, these battle royals, these qualifiers, is they're going to be really slow to begin with, but the moment the eliminations start, it picks up quite a bit. Because there kind of becomes a point where, like, people are ready to be eliminated, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like, the time has come for them to actually be eliminated. Oh, jeez, that was a cool move. I could see Primo getting eliminated any second now. Really shouldn't be going toe-to-toe with Kozlov. I am curious to see how this one goes. My predictions... Oh. I'll hold them. Waiting to see where this roll-up battle goes. Okay. My predictions are, I could see Primo going first. I could see like Mysterio randomly going like second, you know, kind of early on, despite the fact that he should have a bit of an advantage over the rest. I could see like maybe Goldust or Tatsu, and I could see Kozlov or Benjamin winning, to be honest. I could see it coming down to one of those two being the winners. I've got to say, I'm really disappointed in the outcome of the last match in a way. As much as I like Terry Funk, I just think like MVP actually showed something in himself. He showed some potential. And I think that could be very interesting to see. I haven't actually spoken about this yet. I probably should have a while ago. Yeah, sorry that the universe has been a little bit patchy. It probably will be after this episode too. I only actually have time right now to record this one episode, so I have no idea what it's going to be like after the day this is posted. It might go away for a week. It might go away for a day. It might not go away at all. It might, you know, I don't know. We've just moved, and with moving comes some time away from work for both me and Saria. Admittedly, we think there may be a way for me to record this series. Oh, so many pins suddenly happening. We may have found out a way for me to record this without wasting her time, because I wake up a lot earlier than her for my job. So if I can kind of keep that up on the days I'm not at work, I might be able to do it then. Maybe. There's no promises there. I'm just letting you guys in on it so you kind of know what's happening. I think my first predictions just come true. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just had a feeling Primo wasn't going to last. And then I think Mysterio will probably randomly go soon. I feel like it'll be Mysterio or like Tatsu. I could just see an upset and Mysterio like quickly getting eliminated. I knew Primo didn't stand a chance, the poor guy. I really thought he'd do better than being eliminated first. No, not my prediction. Okay, I was going to say, Benjamin was the one I was expecting to win. Excuse me. But yeah, so at the moment I'm not really sure how often I can record this because the weekends aren't a guaranteed at the moment, obviously. And on top of that, I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I do only have the time to record this one episode right now. So I'll just kind of try and squeeze these in when I can. I do apologize if I forget about the qualifiers. Like, I want to confirm that Mark Henry will be in next Raw's one to kind of make up for the fact that MVP was in one. But, you know, to kind of like treat that tag team like equal. Maybe even stir the pot in some issues between them. But, I'm not going to guarantee that because I don't know if I'll remember by next week. Or whenever next week is in terms of recording time.
Tatsu from behind.
I like this so far. It has literally just been Primo. It's not been like the Raw Battle Royal where like there was loads of eliminations in a row once one happened. It's just been Primo.
And there's the double team. Dear Lord, those lariats can do so much damage. Oh, wow.
Okay. That's an interesting turn of events. I don't actually see Kozlov winning this, I must admit. As I've already said. I'm guessing my bets have gone more in the favour of Benjamin because I was originally saying it was going to be him or Kozlov. Suddenly now my gut's just like, I don't think Kozlov's winning. And not just because he's been busted open, I don't know, all of a sudden I'm just getting this feeling like he hasn't done anything that remarkable in a little while.
Watch out here. Watch it. That was like a freight train.
Yeah, we might see like Vance Archer get an opportunity soon for the ECW title in another matchup next week. We might see like If I just had to give some names for who you might expect, you know, Dolph Ziggler. I think that's kind of a given. Finley, I think makes sense. British Bulldog, maybe. I wouldn't put The Rock in this. I don't know why, but The Rock and Cena I just don't want to put in this. I know that Ray is also technically a top guy, but I think it's just the fact that Ray has absolutely not been used, whereas Cena and The Rock, although I've had to book them, they have at least won their matches. Ray's had one match at Survivor Series in a scramble and he didn't win it. And there he goes. My second prediction was correct. Holy shit. Alright, my next guest is going to have to be... I don't know. I'm thinking Goldust or Tatsu. I'm going to guess Tatsu, to be honest. I think Goldust can outlast him. I promise I'm not, like, voicing this over in post. I haven't, like, already seen what's happening. I'm not trying to, like, weirdly future flex and not actually have any right to flex because I've just already seen it before. I'm not, like, doing that.
Into the tie-up. What diabolical things are going through that mind right now? When you get in control like this, you want to throw everything at your opponent.
It's just like I'm feeling these weird predictions. I really didn't think Ray would actually go as quick as he did. Like, I know that I felt it, but a part of me just didn't expect it. Oh, okay. See, I was wrong there. I said that Tatsu would be next. He was next, but next to eliminate someone. If I were Benjamin and Tatsu right now, I'd want to work together to get rid of Kozlov. Because he's kind of the most imposing guy by far. Well, there goes my prediction. I'd say Benjamin's probably out. Yeah. Well, my other prediction was Kozlov, so I guess we'll see if he can take down Tatsu now. Or if Tatsu is going to have returned from his injury better than ever and join Terry Funk. Tell you what, that's a weird looking match no matter who wins. You got either Kozlov and Funk or Tatsu and Funk. Either way, that is shaping up to be an unusual ECW title match. But if I know you viewers like I think I do, you're all rooting for Tatsu, right? Most of you are rooting for Tatsu right now. There is the occasional, like, anti-establishment commenter that's just like, I don't like Yoshi Tatsu. I don't think it's fun. He sucks. Admittedly, I think it's Kozlov that's winning this. I really do. Not just because he's got a signature, but because of the way he launched Tatsu just there. It kind of reminds you that, like, Tatsu's kind of up against someone a lot bigger and better than him in certain aspects. Mostly size and strength. Although, I've been wrong before. Pin him! Oh my god! He did what MVP didn't. He went for the pin. Well, there you go. I was very wrong. That's how you come back from a freak injury. Yoshi Tatsu, everybody, joins Terry Funk in the ECW title match. What a well-earned victory. I'll tell you one thing, if I can remember, I've got to remember that the qualifiers that I do next week don't involve the same people that were in the ones this week. Because I could see myself making that mistake. Being like, Primo, he's a loser, I'll put him in the match. I can't actually think of that many people in SmackDown that aren't used, to be honest. So that one might not be able to be a 6-man. Like Raw, I think I could do another 6-man, but SmackDown's might have to be smaller. It does have a smaller roster, so that does make sense. And my controller turned off during that. It's awkward. Alright, Cruiserweight title match. There is a little bit of an update on this match that I will give you in just a moment.
Following contest is for the Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Introducing the challenger from Ghana, West Africa, weighing 221 pounds, Kofi Kingston.
Things haven't quite gone as planned in this matchup. As we know, Christian rightfully earned his way into this couple weeks back on Raw by winning a Battle Royal. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it here tonight.
The Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Ryder.
Initially, this was going to be a triple threat match between the number one contender, well, the rightful number one contender, no disrespect to Kofi Kingston, but the rightful number one contender, Christian, and Kofi, who had just beaten Zack Ryder to kind of earn his way into this and kind of reignite the flame that started back in November between these two. But things kind of unfortunately turned for the worst on Raw this week, as John Morrison, in his match with Christian, hurt him quite badly, and Christian is not like horribly injured. We won't be seeing him gone for an incredibly long time, but he's dealing with some minor concussions after the chair shot, the concerto as it's called, and so this has become a one-on-one match for the Cruiserweight title between Zack Ryder and Kofi Kingston. But here's hoping that Christian gets what is rightfully his in the future, as he was, you know, with all due respect to Kofi Kingston, the rightful contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. Evan Bourne has been kept from ringside for this one to try and make this a fair and balanced and respectful championship match. Kofi Kingston wants to prove that he can win this on his own. And Zack Ryder has been champion for coming on like 2 months now, as he won it at Survivor Series in the debut Cruiserweight Championship match against Kofi Kingston. I think this would be like, if we were to put this into a time, it'd be kind of like January, sorry. This would be like January like 20th-ish, because the Rumble's kind of late into January. And we're about a week, 9 days away, I believe. No, 10 days away. This is Thursday. So, yeah, 10 days away.
Devastating impact to the arm. Good counter by Ryder.
Yeah, Ryder was looking to make bail there.
There in the worst way. You can see the arrogance exuding from Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder always has game plans for his matches. Zack Ryder into the headlock.
No idea why want to target the ref, but whoops. Did it anyway. Obviously, Kofi already holds a victory over Ryder this week, whereas Zack Ryder's was a victory all the way back in November, and it was only because of a cheap shot potentially. That's kind of been the controversy between these two facing off for the Cruiserweight title all the way back at Survivor Series, is that Zack Ryder started off his championship reign with a lot of cheap shots, and he's actually cut down on them, I must admit. He didn't attack Kofi in this episode, you know. He hasn't actually really crossed any lines, so to speak, like that in a while, I want to say. But, maybe it's just because he realizes he's outnumbered now. I don't know how on earth Ryder will have caught Kofi with the arm there. It's a bit of a confusing reversal. Oh, what a big old choppy boy. I hate that punch. I'm gonna just tell you now.
Kofi is so unpredictable. Yeah, I wonder sometimes if even Kofi knows what he's going to do next. Or if some of these moves just happen out of instinct. I'll go with the instinct.
I mean, obviously Kofi's got a bit of an advantage here. He's riding a lot of momentum. He's just recently formed a tag team with Bourne. They could be, you know, one day competing for the tag team titles. Zack Ryder's definitely not the favorite between these two. That's very clear. Although he has got more wins than losses, and although he is the most featured guy in this universe, I want to say, I gotta be honest with you and just go ahead and say I don't honestly know if he can beat Kofi Kingston. Could be looking at the end already. Yeah, we really could be. An SOS on the Cruiserweight Champion. Oh. There you go. Ryder now trying to get back in. Let's see if I can get Ryder back in this matchup, shall we? That red raw chest. Whoa, that was pretty cool. Don't think he was supposed to have gotten as much air as he did. I think that was a little weird looking, but there's something kind of cool about it too.
He has a serious mean streak. Well, in my opinion, Ryder's that outfit. I mean, that's just painful to look at. He wants to remove that padding.
There you go. Classic Zack Ryder. He just couldn't resist. Just had to cheat somehow, some way. Had to try and create an opening that would work in his favor. Well, it's like his Cruiserweight Championship title defense. He's only won to date, which was up against Matt Hardy at TLC, which he won, but by roll-up. I know that, like, obviously that is a form of winning, but they were so evenly matched up until he got that one little roll-up. It just makes you wonder. Could he have actually beaten Matt Hardy? Does he deserve to be the champion right here and right now? Kofi obviously disagrees because he keeps going for the pin. Him is also the one challenging him for the title.
Did you listen to this crowd show their appreciation for these amazing competitors? Kofi controlling the waist.
It might be for the best that, uh-oh. There you go. Classic Ryder. Expose. Oh. Tables may have turned.
In a boot to the gut. Zack Ryder goes behind. Oh, man. What impact from that suplex. Oh, he's on the move again.
Well, that didn't really work. Okay, I mean that is one way to keep the belt. Didn't really work in his favor, but it was one way to try and keep the belt, I guess.
What in the world did Kofi do there? Hooks the leg, and Ryder kicks out. Ah, look at this.
Oh.
Telegraphed and Ryder capitalizes.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? There is some support for Zack Ryder. Comes in all shapes and forms. That's a very true statement. It's not the guy I meant to go for there. There you go.
Right now he's showing me a lot of what he's able to do.
Well, that didn't work. I think we might be seeing the very end of Zack Ryder's Cruiserweight Championship run. The boom drop again. The big old bulldog. Kofi got a little ahead of himself. I think he should have probably gone for a finisher instead. Another SOS. 2. I know Ryder could kick out a 1, but 2. He just wasn't that good. I don't know what to feel for Christian on one hand, but on the other hand, it's good to see some justice finally be served at the expense of Zack Ryder. Some could argue he'd outgrown the Cruiserweight title as well. Admittedly, I don't see Zack Ryder wanting to face Kane anytime soon, but some could argue he outgrew the Cruiserweight Championship, that he'd kind of moved past it a little bit. You know, if he can find a partner, I could see him going for the Hart Dynasty. If he can maybe try to step up and face Triple H. Maybe not. But Kofi Kingston, the new Cruiserweight Champion. There you go. There you have a nice big title change on the first episode of ECW, as well as 2 qualifying battle royals. Did you know that Howard Finkel came up with the name WrestleMania back in 1985? I didn't. I'm sure I've seen that fact before, but I forgot it. So I thought I'd ask if you knew too. So as we now have found from this episode, Terry Funk and Yoshi Tatsu are 2 of the 4 people that will compete for the ECW Championship at the Royal Rumble, and also Kofi Kingston is the new Cruiserweight Champion. I think that already changed that, but I'm not entirely sure. Yes, it did. So there you go. Kofi Kingston and Zack Ryder's relationship has gotten even worse. That's not really surprising. In terms of ranking changes, obviously there won't be any changes in the women's and tags, same. Yoshi Tatsu has gone up 1 in the Intercontinental Championship, so he could be getting close to 2 championship opportunities in his near future, much like Sheamus on Raw. No changes on SmackDown, and as for Raw, quite a few. Drew McIntyre has gone up, David Hart Smith has gone down. I think this is based on Raw, those ones, same with Christian and Evan Bourne. But Kofi Kingston has overtaken Zack Ryder, which makes sense since he just beat him. And in regards to this one, Kofi Kingston has jumped from rank 9 to rank 7 because of his victory over Zack Ryder. Okay. So Kofi Kingston with his first championship. The Legacy versus Finlay and a mystery partner. I don't know why he wouldn't be teaming with Kozlov, but we'll hear that one out. We'll see what it's got to offer. I'm probably not going to change. Mystery partners are just too good to not mess with. Like, to mess with, I mean. So I just won't. JTG versus British Bulldog. I mean, preferably not, but maybe. Jimmy Snuka versus Edge. Again, preferably not, but maybe. No. Plain and simple. I mean, to be fair, actually, a rematch would make sense because last week's SmackDown ended in such a confusing way. We don't actually know who the contender for the title is. So to lock the 2 in a steel cage and put the opportunity up for grabs again actually makes a lot of sense, especially the steel cage gimmick. I know the game is just being stupid. It had no idea what it was doing. It's just pulling matches out of a hat. But actually, I'm going to give it a lot of credit. I like that a lot. Steel cage match between the 2, and we can say that's the contenders match rematch. And obviously, steel cage means no Luger involvement, no restart, false count anywhere potentially. I mean, admittedly, that one can't be helped. But yeah, just a straight up one-on-one. Let's find out who's going to be fighting Randy Orton at the Rumble match. I'm down with that. Okay, so there you go. That's going to be it for this episode, though. So thank you all for joining me here on ECW, the debut episode. I know that the calendar still says Superstars and everything. Obviously, I can't change that because you can't change the shows in this game. You can only change the arena per match, which takes a while, but that was fun. Thanks for joining me. I hope to be back on your screens soon. Bye.